and welcome to our very first Kids STEAM time for Summer Reading 2020. Yay! So today we are going to be making a really cool project that may require a little bit of extra help from a parent, but we're going to be making circuit light up magic wands. So I have a couple examples here that you can see. All right, so they're made with some simple supplies, and if you don't have these supplies at home, we are actually offering them at the Alexander Hamilton Library in Waynesboro during our curbside pickup. So we'll have 50 kits prepared with the different materials we're using today that you can pick up while supplies last during our curbside pickup times. So more about that at the end. But for these circuit wands, we're going to be using popsicle sticks, copper tape, batteries, and LED lights today to create a path from our battery at the end that goes the whole way up to the LED light at the top. So when you take this handy on-off switch, you'll be able to say LUMOS and, let's try it again, LUMOS, and dazzle your wizarding friends, or perhaps your muggle friends. So, and we did the same for all of these LUMOS and LUMOS. All right, so pretty cool stuff. All right, and like I said, we're just going to use some simple materials today. So the first thing that you'll get in your kit, or if you're using them from home, is we have popsicle sticks. You'll need 3 popsicle sticks. Now these are pretty thin, but you can also use the big tongue depressors. It's up to you. You can also, before you start building, you can use marker, paint, pens, and add some decorations too. So if you're interested in doing a really cool personalized wand, this is a good time to add decorations. Get some of that art in there. But we're going to just stick to 3 plain ones today for our example. All right, you'll also need a 3-volt battery. All right, ours comes looking like this. You'll also need an LED light. All right, and we'll go ahead and pull those 2 little legs very gently. We'll pull them apart just a little bit. So on your LED light, it doesn't matter what color it is. Maybe yours will be red like mine. But what you'll need is you'll have to make sure that yours has a long positive leg and a short negative leg. All right. Also, we're going to be using some copper tape today. All right, copper tape is very important while we're making circuits. And last, something that you'll need to provide at home is we're actually going to be cutting one of our popsicle sticks. You can see it has a line on here. This one has a suggested line. So you'll need something to cut. All right, maybe it's a pair of scissors, or maybe it's something else. The last thing you'll need at home is also some tape to connect your pieces. Now, today I'm going to be using Scotch tape. Scotch tape works just fine. It's not the prettiest, but it works. You can also use duct tape, electrical tape. It's up to you. So we'll need scissors and tape at home. Now, to get started today, like I said, we are going to be making circuit wands. So my first question to you is, well, what is a circuit? All right, so for our wands, we need a way to connect our power source, our battery, to our light, or the output. So a circuit is the path that you use to connect the battery to the output and back. So we're going to be making a big circle between those 2 things. The way that we do that, any ideas? Yeah, is with our copper tape. So your copper tape today is going to be your conductor. A conductor is something that conducts, or lets travel through, electricity from the battery to the light. And so with our conductor, we're going to be connecting the positive side on your LED light to the positive side of the battery. So if we go ahead and open our battery, we'll take a look at that positive side. All right, the very shiny side right here is your battery's positive side. It has a little plus sign on it that you can see. And the opposite rough side is going to be your negative side. All right, so on your LED, the longest leg is your positive leg. So think shiny. So the shiny side plus the long leg. And then the short leg goes with negative. So the negative side of your battery and your short leg. All right. And we're going to take our copper tape and connect those together. To do that, we're going to use popsicle sticks to form the wing or the wand body. So let's start with the easiest popsicle stick first. We'll go ahead and put our supplies to the side. All right, for our popsicle sticks. All right, your first one is going to be by far the easiest, where we're just going to take our copper tape, and be careful because the copper tape can be pretty sticky. We're going to take our copper tape and put it the whole way down one side of our popsicle stick. So there's white paper on the back. You can peel off the white paper. Like I said, copper tape can be pretty sticky, so just be careful. It sticks to your fingers really easily. And copper tape can also be a little sharp on the edges. It can give paper cuts if you're not careful. So please be careful when you're using this, that you handle it carefully. All right, my suggestion is to just take a little bit off at a time and then push it down where you want it. So I'll take this and put it down, and now it's not the whole way to the very end. That's okay, it's close. And now I'll peel a little bit more off and stick this down, and I'll peel a little bit more off until it's at the very end. And you can see mine's not completely straight, and that's okay. Copper tape is really sticky, and it's also pretty flexible. So I'll push that down, and now at the end, I'll just twist it apart to rip it off. Okay, and now I've got my extra and the rest of my tape. So this is part one. Your first stick is just one full-length copper piece. Pretty easy. But our next stick is actually going to allow our wand to be turned on and off. You can see with this wand that right now it's not lit up. What I need to do is take my on-off switch, this little piece of popsicle stick, and I need to push it down to turn it on. That's how you get that amazing LUMOS and turn it on. If it was on all the time, your battery would die pretty fast. So to do that, we actually need to make a break in the circuit. So we're going to make a hole so that copper tape doesn't connect from the battery to the light to the battery in one complete circle. Instead, we're going to make, and if you can see, we're going to make these little ring spaces. This is going to be our circuit break. Right? So on my second popsicle stick with no line, I'm going to pick a spot toward one end, and I'm just going to tear off some more copper tape. You don't need a whole lot. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to make a ring. So like I said, toward one end. So I think I'll put it here. It's not quite in the middle. You want it to be to one side, but I'll go ahead and stick it down and wrap my ends around. Make sure that it forms a complete ring. If yours is really short, like mine was almost too short, I can add more copper tape on. You should have extra if you're getting it from the library. Right, so I have one ring. Now I'm going to make a second ring. Right, so I'll tear off a little bit more copper tape, peel off the white paper if I can. Whew, so sticky. All right, and now I'm going to leave about a finger space. It's okay if your finger is bigger or smaller than mine. We just need a space. Okay, so about a finger you can estimate. Stick it down, wrap it the whole way around, and press it down nice and tight. All right, so you can see I have 2 rings on my popsicle stick. And now it's time to add the rest of the tape on this one. So we want this one to be basically the same as this, just with that break in the middle. So we're going to take our copper tape and add more from one ring to the bottom and from the other ring to the top. Just be careful you don't put any copper tape in the middle of the 2 rings. So we'll get a little bit here. Just go ahead and put it right on the ring and press it down to the end and tear off the extra. And like I said, you can just kind of wrap it around. Then we'll take more and go from the other ring. We'll tap it down and go the whole way to the end and tear off the extra. All right, so now I've got my 2 main pieces. All right, so I've got one that's completely copper taped the whole way from the top to the bottom on one side. And I've got another one that has copper tip from the top to the bottom except for the middle rings. And those rings go the whole way around. Okay, now, before we do our third stick, it's time to attach our two pieces with some more copper tape and our LED light. All right, so here is where we're going to think about the positive and negative side of our LED light. Okay, so you can put your positive side, so the long leg is your positive, and you can put that on either stick. We're going to tape it down so that this sticks to the stick. You can put it on either stick. I like to put the positive on the stick with the rings because I remember that the special ring stick goes with positive, and positive is good, and it's good to be positive. So I'll take a little bit more copper tape and taping the LED light down is, I think, one of the hardest things about this whole project. So if you need to ask for some help, help is always good. So we'll take some tape and I'll put it between the two legs so that the sticky side is out. And now I'm going to take this LED and I'm going to tape it at the top end. So you can see it's the opposite end from my rings. I'll tape it to the top and just press it down nice and firm. If it pops off, that's totally fine. You can just put it back on. You can even add more copper tape. The cool thing about copper tape is that it conducts electricity. Remember, that means it lets electricity move through it, through the top of the tape or the bottom side. All right, now, this is what I think is the hardest part of the whole thing. We're going to take some more copper tape and we're going to tape this side so that it attaches to this foot. So I'll take some more copper tape and I will put this very carefully, resituate. I'll put this inside, so sticky. I'll put that inside the LED leg. Try to make it as straight as you can. It'll be a little easier. And now I'm going to take this one, turn it over, and tape it down to the other leg. And I can remember my positive side with the rings, negative side has nothing. Right? And so we have a nice kind of triangle start, so a pointed shape with our LED at the top. All right, so I'm going to take this and now I'm going to set it aside. If you want, you can hold very carefully. I like to hold up near the LED and you can kind of squish it closed. All right, you don't need it to stay in a big V for when we make our wand. So now I've got the beginning of my circuit, but it's not finished yet because now I've got that gap between the two rings. So my next step is going to be to use my third popsicle stick and I'm going to make an on-off switch. Now you can see in my example, my on-off switch is a shorter piece of popsicle stick that has been cut off. So I'm going to get out my scissors, and if you got popsicle sticks from the library, they'll have a suggestion line. If it doesn't have a suggestion line, just estimate like a third of the way up or so. It doesn't have to be perfect, just long enough that it's not going to break the end when you cut it. All right, so I'll very carefully cut my stick, and it's okay if it pops away. We'll just go get it. And you can see that mine actually started to crack up through. That's okay because I'm going to be able to put it together again with some copper tape. All right, so this is our new on-off switch. This long piece we're going to set to the side for now. All right, so my next step with my on-off switch is I'm going to go back to my copper tape and I'm going to add tape to the length of this. Now, any guesses why we're going to put tape on here? Yeah, as our on-off switch, this is going to be a bridge. So you can see inside here, our copper tape goes up and then there's a gap where there's no connection. So there's nowhere for the electricity to travel. It will get here and stop, or it will get here and go around the outside and stop. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some copper tape to our popsicle stick. And this is a good time, if yours is cracked like mine, make sure that it's squished together nice and tight, so then the copper tape will help to hold it together permanently. So we'll take this, and now what's going to happen with this piece is we're going to tape it so it goes over that gap. So now when the electricity is traveling, it'll start at the bottom, go up here, go around, and this will be a bridge or your on-off switch. So to attach this, we're going to get out our handy dandy tape. Again, the kind of tape you use doesn't really matter. I'm going to use Scotch tape because it's easy and I have it here at the library with me. Now it is a little wide, so I'm just going to cut off a piece to make it a little bit thinner. All right, and I'm going to take my tape and see, I have my on-off switch lined up so that it touches both sides of the rings. I'm going to just add my tape to the on-off switch and tape it down onto the popsicle stick below. And if you have a little extra, you can just tuck it under. So now I have a hinge, right? Woohoo! So I have my on-off switch. Yay! So it's like a bridge that will flop down to turn it on. All right, but we are missing one more thing. We have our conductor, we have our LED output, but we are missing our power. So our last step today is going to be to get back out that battery. All right, so with our battery, we're going to take the battery, and this is where stuff gets really cool because you can see that yours is going to work. All right, now we'll take our battery and put it between the ends of the two popsicle sticks. Now, if I take that in the bottom and I push my on-off switch, wait, why didn't it turn on? Any guesses? Well, the reason is because if you remember, we said that the shiny side is positive and the rough side is negative. I need to make sure that I match up my positive and negative popsicle sticks. So I put it in upside down, and when I put it in and I pressed my on-off switch, nothing happened. So if that happens to you, take your battery out, put it back in at the bottom, then press your on-off switch. Yeah! So I matched my positive and negative, and now the power is moving from my positive side up through my on-off switch bridge, up one popsicle stick to the light, back down the other side, and back to the negative side of the battery. So we're making one big circle of power. Pretty exciting, right? But if I let go, now my battery can just fall out. So my very last step is going to be to get my handy dandy tape and our last piece of popsicle stick. This piece you can just slide right inside. This doesn't do a job except to help the wand be stronger. So I'm going to take this, put it inside. I like to slide it the whole way to the top, pinch it closed, and add tape around the outside. Again, just helping to make the body of the wand stronger. And now I'm going to take my battery and slide it in. All right, you can see it's right at the end, and I'm going to take another piece of tape and wrap it around that battery at the end. And Scotch tape, like I said, doesn't necessarily look the nicest, but it does work. Duct tape might be a little cooler, especially if you have cool colors. Electrical tape works really well, but if you don't have anything else, Scotch tape is totally fine. All right, so now we have everything taped together. All right, I'm going to move my tape out of the way, clean up my area a little bit. All right, so let's take a look. We have our circuit complete with one popsicle stick with tape the whole way along, one popsicle stick with tape the whole way along except for 2 rings and a gap in the middle. We have both taped to our LED light at the top, an extra cut piece in the middle to add strength, our on-off switch with copper tape ready at the sides, and our battery taped inside. Are you ready, friends? Let's say it together. LUMOS! All right, and now it's time to have fun with your circuit wand and impressing all of your muggle friends. Now, I will say that when you use your circuit, it might be really easy, like this one. All right, this one is great. It works super well. But you may end up with one kind of like the very first one that I did. All right, where this is a really pretty blue light. But when I say LUMOS and press down, sometimes I kind of have to wiggle the trigger a little bit to see where its sweet spot is. So if you need to wiggle yours around a little bit, that's okay. All right, it just means that something is a little lined up funky, but it still will work. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed our STEAM magic wands today using circuits. And like I said, you can find most of these materials if you're in the Waynesboro area during our pickup time. So in our STEAM kits, you'll find 3 popsicle sticks, the LED light, the battery, and the copper tape with some extra copper tape. You'll need to provide the tape for the outside and the scissors to cut the popsicle stick. Okay, but you can find these at our curbside pickup, which is Monday to Friday at the Alexander Hamilton Library in Waynesboro from 4 to 6 p.m. and then on Saturdays from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Now, we'll do 50 kits a week, and so you can grab them when you go to pick up your books while supplies last. So, friends, we hope that you enjoyed this first STEAM activity. Super exciting stuff. All right, and we'll see you next week for some more magical STEAM stuff. All right, have a great day, guys. Enjoy your STEAM. LUMOS!